What up, and welcome to episode 4 of Creeps of the Crypt. I'm your host, John, and along with me is other Alan.
Yes, we're here to talk about the last episode of the season 1, the shortest season.
Yep, 6 episodes. This is episode 6. It's titled Collection Completed, and it stars old people. On top of that, also, the Crypt Keeper is still doing his... He gets to become the Crypt Keeper next season. Right now, he's still talking very slow, like a skeleton.
Yeah, that's before like they start. I wouldn't say they jumped the shark yet in season 2, but I just finished season 4 I was telling you about before we started the recording, and at the end of the last episode of that one, he's definitely becoming a little bit more. He starts becoming more campy. Yeah, it's that trend or that the most popular characters that are in the horror genre fall into. They start getting more campier, and it's just they're not as cool as they used to be. But season 2, he was on point for
season
sure.
2, he was all right, but they did have little cameos where he would be with Whoopi Goldberg or fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger out of nowhere. And you'd be like, what the fuck?
Those I didn't mind too much.
No.
But yeah, it starts to get into like the Hollywood Crypt Keeper over here.
He was in 2. Whoopi Goldberg was in 2 episodes. Well, besides she's in an actual episode, but in the intro, she's in 2 of them, I believe. I believe the one with the episode that she's in, where she's the voodoo lady or whatever, I think, right? Then there's another episode.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. She shows up twice throughout the show. Yeah, because I brought it up to you about, Jay, they're really, really pushing her into this one. But you had mentioned, at the time, she was already like an Oscar winner, right?
She had The Color Purple.
She had done Ghost and everything.
And Ghost was a big hit. Ghost
I
think she didn't win for
I'm
Ghost.
more of a Sister Act kind of guy, but yeah, that's the good ones.
Oh, I love Sister Act too. The first one, not the second one. I mean, also, I love Sister Act. I did like Whoopi Goldberg when I was younger, and she was in Comic Relief, I think it was called, where her, Robin Williams, and Billy Crystal. Even though she was never a stand-up, but they did this tour together. On top of that, my parents had a restaurant back in the day, and there was a movie called White Lies that never came out. But her and Michael J. Fox and somebody else were producing it. And they filmed in my parents' restaurant. And then, but it never came out. The movie never came out. What's also funny about that is that one time, when I was working at that restaurant, this person came in and started taking pictures. And I was the cook. And I was like, can I help you? And they go, oh, hi, I'm a location scout for Warner Brothers, I think. I think it was Warner Brothers. It goes, we want to shoot, we're looking for a diner scene for our movie that we're making, starring Denzel Washington and Benicio del Toro. We're thinking about this location, but it's kind of too modern. We might have to change everything up. So do you know how much it would cost to rent? I said, oh, you'd have to speak to my father or whatever. So he gave me a card, and the title of the movie was called True Blue. Now, that movie ended up being made, but it starred Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe as American Gangster. And they filmed further away. I think on 125th on the west side they ended up filming. But so that scene where Denzel goes out and he shoots the guy in the head, which is Stringer Bell, Idris Elba, right? Mm-hmm. That was supposed to be the diner. It was supposed to be my parents' diner. But anyway, we're here to talk about Tales from the Crypt Collection Completed.
But honestly, your story is more exciting than this episode. But yeah, we'll get into it
know.
as we start off this kind of a flat episode they end the season on. I'd say
I looked into it, right, and I see that there's a lot of writers on this one. Surprising. This Mary Lambert is the director of this, and I was like, what has she done? And besides, I looked at her picture and I was like, oh. But she does a lot of TV now. But back in the day, she did one movie that was a big fucking deal that led her to do Tales from the Crypt. And the movie came out in 89, so I guess they just picked her to direct this because of that movie, and that was Pet Sematary. So she directed the first Pet Sematary, which is a huge hit, and then they tell her, hey, come here and direct this episode. And everything else she's done before that is music videos. music videos.
Right.
You know, she did in '91. She started directing. She's still doing music. Pet Cemetery. She also directed Pet Cemetery 2. I mean,
Oh wow.
yeah,
Yeah, that seems to be her claim to fame. Because I'm looking through her IMDb, it just seems like a lot of music videos, like you said. I mean, it's not surprising. There's been some directors that managed to get some gigs and to make films or TV stuff, and it's been a long running thing. I can't think of any particular director off my head that's been able to propel themselves higher to making films continuously that came from a music video background off my head. But yeah, there's been some that's had pretty good movies, like one or two good ones under their belt. But she seems to be, that's her only claim to fame is the Pet Cemetery.
yeah. Then
Looked like she did an episode of Law and Order SVU last year.
She directed a lot of TV now. Oh no, not
Yeah.
even. But she's directed some. Everything's like nothing. Arrow, the episode of Arrow, The Blacklist. She's just like trading places.
She's just one of those rotating directors that they for TV.
She had a hit, and then I don't know why
Yeah.
she didn't pull the trigger on something after, to do another. I don't know. It doesn't make it.
Oh yeah, it makes sense that they got her on this episode. I don't know if any of her directing really helped propel this episode to anything. Well, when you think about it, I mean, we'll get into the whole episode as a whole. I mean, I could see how there's a connection to Pet Cemetery in this episode in a way. We'll get to that. Not entirely connected, but like there's similar aspects.
Yes, there is a similar. Maybe that's
with
why
with animals, yeah.
Maybe that's why a little bit, because they said, "Oh, she works well with animals." I don't know. There's only one animal in Pet Cemetery she had to work with, the cat.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, the episode stars old people. I don't know, too familiar with the wife in this episode. I think she's done a couple different TV stuff. She was in Three's Company, right?
Yeah, she
She
was
familiar,
Mrs.
right?
She was the oh my god! I remember I was in a conversation with a couple guys on Xbox, and somehow she came up and they were like,
Such random, yeah.
"Would you
All
bang her?" And I was like, "What?" Like, there was another woman besides her in Three's Company. She was Helen Roper, but I think there's somebody else that was like. They said she was always horny. Would you bang her? And I was thinking, I think I said yes.
From the main cast or some supporting
No,
character?
they were talking about her, like the older Mrs. Roper. She was the old lady nosy neighbor. I kept thinking they were having a threesome, because that was the whole. They pretended like John Ritter was gay on the show, right?
Right.
And that's how they got the apartment. But then like then she would always think like they were having sex, the three of them, and she wanted in on it. Like she was
They were swingers or something.
Yeah, she wanted in on it. Was the joke.
I mean, Suzanne Summers back in the day, yeah.
For me, it was Joyce DeWitt. Janet, which is anyway. For me, it was Janet when she was young. She was hot, man.
Yeah.
Janet was hot.
So yeah, she's in this. Her name is what is her name? It's escaping me here. It's
Anita.
Yeah, Anita in the episode. I was trying to remember the actress's name.
Mary Lambert.
Audra Lindley.
Director. Yeah, Audra.
Audra. Yeah, and then the husband Emmet Walsh. I know him from a few different movies.
Oh yeah.
He's been in a couple things. He was in Missing in Action with Chuck Norris, and I remember him from oddly enough, Blade Runner. He was in Blade Runner and Back to School. Back in school, I remember with Dangerfield.
Yeah, he was the coach, right?
He was like the swimming coach.
Yeah,
And the other guy from another related Stephen King property from Christine. He was in that one.
He was in so many things. That guy was in so many things, like a lot of things.
The episode is just more so a story about a guy forced in retirement and then having to live with his wife full time. That is retired. This is like the ultimate horror story for I guess any any older retiree. Having used to being not so much at home often and then having to retire. afterwards, and it's just living with his wife and a bunch of animals a bunch of strays she keeps bringing in. I'm just being grumpy the whole episode, pretty much. There's not a whole lot to say on this one because I usually would try to, I guess, go over some scenes, but the stuff is very mundane episode, man. It's just like a slice of life kind of episode, you know, him trying to adjust to living at home with his wife full time and and them butting heads all the time because she's just a hoarder of animals in this place. So what did you think of this episode overall? I guess.
Okay, this episode, I told you before last episode that I always had a problem with this episode because it didn't feel like a Tales from the Crypt episode. The production value did seem like it was lacking, right?
I felt that way too. Yeah, it felt like a made-for-TV movie. Like the other episodes and the ones we see later on Tales from the Crypt, they feel more high budget, feel more like little. Like a step above a TV movie, I would say. Mm-hmm. They had some quality to them. This one definitely feels very low budget. Like it's almost like an old episode of a TV show from that time.
Yeah,
like a very cheap.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I
show.
said there's a show called Tales from the Dark Side. It's a good show. It was one of the better like anthology series. There's no intro like person to open up this show, but it is a show where there's just different scary stories every episode, right? There's another show like that too, and it's filmed like this episode, like the exact like low quality cameras, you know, like you're not. It's just doesn't seem the production value wasn't there. They're trying to do it cheap or whatever, and that's what this seems. And it was always hard to get through this episode. I don't know if it was her acting. I don't know. She's actually older than him in real life. She's like 17 years older than her husband in the movie, which you wouldn't think, but yeah, she's much older than him.
Yeah, you wouldn't think because they look pretty old, so you just kind of roll with it. Yeah, I would say the performances were decent between the two. It's just the story itself. It's just nothing that grabs you right away. It's just a very simple story, and it was kind of predictable too at some point near the end. But yeah, it's just the husband trying to adjust to living with his wife pretty much. And
I will say this is the first time I actually watched it completely. So like I actually did watch it completely. So like I normally would stop when he was becoming an insufferable asshole. Like I understand. Like I get the idea is. He's been busy his whole life working for her. They don't have kids, nothing. She's lonely. She's a lonely old lady that's been home. So she's been adopting these pets. And like he would just come home and not even notice them. Right? So I get that part. But then like to be that insufferable when you're retired now, you got to be home. You can't find anything to do. Like everything. I understand when she gave the steak to him. That's a big fucking. I would have had a problem too. I'd have been like, listen.
So there's a scene. Yeah. There's a scene that she makes this bomb ass looking steak, I guess, for the 90s, and just feeds it to the dog. One of the dogs they have in the house, and he thought he was gonna eat it, and he just gives her like this oatmeal, this basic lame ass oatmeal.
And he's like, what the hell?
But yeah, he's very grumpy throughout the whole episode for sure.
But
most of it not warranted. It's just
but
more so it's just more so him not being used to being at home all day.
Mm-hmm. And not really even like caring. I don't know. It was just like he was annoyed by everything she did, and I'm like, you married her, and you're telling me there weren't weekends where you didn't work. You know, like that's I get it. It's a show. You're supposed to just think, okay, so let's just think he worked the weekends too. But at the end of it all, it's like the animals aren't bothering you that much. Besides that one time, you know. But like they didn't make it like a. I don't know. It could have been done better with it. You could see the animals were more of a nuisance to him, like the smell of the cat. Like if she was really a disgusting pig, and like she had kitty litter boxes all over, and there were more like this is just a sporadic amount of animals, and it was like 5. You know, I've watched episodes of Hoarders, and I'm like,
to
what
get in
the
this way,
fuck?
and he gets annoyed and shit. Like just random, just like a bunch of animals showing up, and he's just. Keep seeing more and more throughout the episode. It's like, what? Yeah, where did this dog come from? It's like, why? And then the dog, a bulldog that goes in there, she names him the same name as
Jonas.
him. Jonas is his name, and one small thing that they give him a retirement gift. They give him like this chrome-plated hammer.
Yeah.
That'll be important later on in the episode. I just thought I'd bring that up. But most of like he's just a grumpy old curmudgeon. Like most of the stuff and most of the hate he lambasts his wife with is just not necessarily justifiable. So, and most of it is just him being cranky and and then he's got a neighbor that comes visit them every once in a while, gives him like these model toys to do to keep him busy. And just he's like, yeah, I'll mess with it. He's got like a 20 stacks of them.
Yeah,
but
that was funny. I thought
he
that was
doesn't
funny.
even touch it.
Like the guy comes out, goes, "Here, I
good.
got you the new B-52," and he's like, "Oh, I can't wait to get started on that one." And he just throws it right in front of him, a stack of all of these that he's never done. And I was like, "Oh my god!" But
so there's that, and then just him doing a bunch of work around the house and stuff, and he falls into like this fish pond, and he's just all covered in a.
No, I don't even know what it is. It's like a pond of like
water and
plants
gunk and shit.
Yeah,
and then he goes up to take a shower.
And the fish are there.
Yeah,
she's cleaning.
He goes
the fish
to take
tank.
a shower, and then there's koi fish in the bathtub, and he just starts screaming in anger.
But she told him before. She's like, that's why I said.
Right.
So the only thing she did horrible was give the steak and and she put the aspirin in his brownie. When he's like, I need an aspirin. She put it in the brownie. He's like, what the hell? I'm not a dog. You don't have to put it in the brownie.
She's just so used to babying and just she sees the pets as her kids. So because they keep her company, and that's very relatable. That there's a lot of that happens. So. Yeah, most of the episode, I mean, it's just
it's pretty short too. It's a pretty short episode.
It feels pretty short. Yeah, I think it clocked in at 27 minutes, but that's not including the credits. That's it. I'm trying to look at when this technically ended around the 25-minute mark.
Yeah. So then also they so it's like 20 minutes. Because the intro is like 2-3 minutes. So it's like 20 something minutes. This episode, I don't even think they replayed it. Like on TV, I don't ever I remember I used to watch. I was a kid. I used to watch Tales from the Crypt when it was on Fox, even the edited version, right? And they had episodes they didn't air, obviously, because it was too either gory or too like the one with
you mentioned the discussion we had. Yeah, there were some like censored episodes they put on TV, and also. When they would syndicate them, but they would also air them on HBO. You mentioned
they aired them on HBO, and then later they would air them on Fox, and it would say HBO's Tales from the Crypt, right? On the intro, when the slime came down, it said HBO's Tales from the Crypt, and it was also the intro was done much faster, but there were episodes they didn't air, like the Patricia Arquette one, because her nipples are hard through her shirt. The entire episode is a very sexual episode. They never aired that on Fox. This one I don't ever recall seeing until I got the DVD box set of the first season, and I saw this, and I think I saw it, and I didn't like it. But now, rewatching it, this is the first time I got through it all, like I said. The turn is good, but it's like it's drastic, it comes out of nowhere. And it's like the animals weren't that much of a pain in the ass to
build up.
Yeah, like
you need a proper build up, but it just for me, I kind of saw it kind of coming, but at the same time, there was some air of elements of what could have been a good Tales from the Crypt episode. It's just most of the episode. I mean, nothing really interesting happens until the 20-minute mark.
Yeah.
When, like Jonas is the final straw for him. Like he's just sick and tired of all these animals and tripping over everything and just everything going wrong. Like everything
for him, it's gone wrong. There's nothing
for him. It's just old man shit. He's just annoyed at everything. And he starts doing some work downstairs, and then like the wife is looking for the bulldog from the earlier episode, right? The same name as him, and he just tells her not to come down there, and then he tells her like he did see him recently, and then she goes. Opens the door in like the backyard, I think. Or
he says
in the front.
He says he's in the backyard, and she goes, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, I just saw him there." And then so she goes up, she opens the door, and then there's this horrible stuffed animal thing with like blinking eyes. That's the dog, the same dog, but you could just tell this is a prop.
Yeah, it almost looked like it was a garden gnome.
The best prop is in the basement later when she comes down. But like anyway. So Jonas is there. He's He's like, I found a new hobby. Like, this is my hobby now. I
Right.
kill all your
Yeah.
animals, and then I stuff them, and then you can keep
Yeah.
them now. It's kind of fucked up. It's a good idea, but they didn't build it up properly. And because he turns, and he's a fucking sick fuck. Like, he's so happy with himself.
Yeah, the dog's eyes start blinking, and he's holding this remote control, like the one you would use for like RC cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts talking about his new hobby is just performing taxidermy on all of her animals she brings in and feeds, and she sees them as her children, and then she gets really upset about it. Justifiably so, because it's pretty fucked up.
He goes, she said something. She goes, what do you, like, what about, she says something, and then he goes downstairs with her. And then he goes, oh, yeah, I did, because she's looking for the cat. She's looking for her cat. It's like her baby cat is the last one, I think. She's like looking all over for her. She's like, you're not going to get him. So she starts looking everywhere she can. She can't find the cat. So she goes to the basement, and she's like, where the fuck is the cat? And then he goes, oh, I haven't started her yet. And he goes, this is my new hobby. I found out what I could do with my spare time. Right? Like, this is my new hobby. Then there's one prop that's great, that he picks up a dog. That I didn't see this dog in this entire episode, so I don't know where. But maybe he just killed the neighbor's dog. But he picks up the head, and it moved like a real dead dog. It looks so good. I was like, holy crap! Like,
Yeah, that one looked pretty solid. Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, that was freaky. And then he sees that the cat's in a box, and he's like, so she's like, I can't let you do this. They're my babies. Like, you can't do this. And then she fucking grabs that hammer that he had.
Yeah, even the squirrel that
Oh
he stuffed
yeah,
into, I noticed too.
He
Squirrel, and there was like a jar of snakes.
She saw
in
it
there.
under the bed. She saw it. That's what she was looking for, and she saw the squirrel. She realized that the dog wasn't the only one. So then she finds this. She screams. That squirrel looked terrible. But then she went down. I didn't see snakes, but she went downstairs and poor Jonas. That dog didn't do anything terrible at all besides eat his steak. That was uncalled for to be, fucked up. But anyway. The cat, he has it in his hand. He's like, I'm gonna kill this. And she's like, I'm not gonna let you do that. And she grabbed that hammer, and you don't see it, obviously.
He pushes her, and she goes to grab his chrome-plated hammer, and then as he's talking about how he's gonna stuff the cat, she kills him with his retirement gift, as we mentioned earlier, to give him this chrome-plated hammer.
It whacked her over the head. It's a huge hammer. It's like Thor's hammer almost. Right? So,
yeah. And then after that happens, it would cut to the scene of them watching Lassie on TV, and then the neighbor that comes over that gave him those toy kits to put together. He sees the husband, and you see the husband got stuffed as well, just like he was doing to the animals. So it kind of looked pretty bad. I don't know what you make of that one.
That was terrible.
But yeah, it was like and then the neighbor gives this funny, terrible like reaction. I thought that was pretty funny. That's the end. Yeah, and then that was the end of the episode.
It was short.
The neighbor reaction was funny. Let me screenshot this.
Everybody in this episode is dead.
On the thumbnail.
You know that? Everybody in this episode is dead except for the director.
All the animals are.
All the animals are dead. And the actors are dead.
Yeah, the animals are dead. Oh, literally and figuratively. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he died. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. Maybe he's still alive.
But that's the end of the episode there, and then we get a line from the Crypt Keeper saying he's much. Yeah, life can be self-fulfilling as long as you're not stuffy about it.
I apologize. He's not dead. Emmet Walsh, the guy who plays Jonas, he's still alive. I don't know how.
He's still kicking.
He was born in 1935. That means he's 86. Yes, he's 80, 85.
He's still doing stuff
he's
here.
87.
Yeah, he was in Knives Out a few years ago, huh? I didn't know.
I can't believe.
I have to keep an eye out for him. Yeah, he's still acting. He's still doing stuff. So, yeah, big ups. This episode. This episode was probably the weakest. And you thought I hated the Only Sin Deep episode, or we both felt the same about the first episode.
You liked it more than me.
I liked it more than I watched it again. The the first episode. I mean, any episode from the season, I think it's better than this one.
Yeah, this is the worst.
This is the weak. This is the weakest episode of season 1.
And it ended. I thought they should have ended probably with. See, this season's actually kind of weak. It has 3 good.
The best episodes. The best episodes are the first. It's episode 2 and 3.
For me, I think
the Christmas one, the Joey Pants episode.
Those 2 are the best. But I'll also add Only Sin Deep as the top 3 episodes of season 1. The top 3.
I think the bottom 2 would be the first one and then the last one being the last.
The first and the last.
The worst one.
Yeah.
The first one's better even than the last one.
That's exactly the order. The order would be for me, it would be an All Through the House, and then the Joey Pants episode, and then after that, Only Sin Deep, and then Lover Come Hack to Me. Then even the pilot, I put the pilot, and then The Man That Was Death, and then this episode. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the list I would have laid out there. That's ranking the episodes of season 1. But you're right though. I think I don't know if do people claim this is one of the better seasons because there are good episodes in it, but I don't think I think season 2 has the best episodes.
I think
most of the episodes in season 2 are really great.
I don't know. People say
I couldn't think of one that hated for season 2.
Let me see something. Let me check because I don't even know. Season 1 for Tales from the Crypt is not. I don't know where you can find the rating.
The worst one in season 2 was the Till Death episode.
The season one, the pilot has a high rating, 7.2. So I'm behind on that one. All Through the House is the highest rated episode of this season. Joey Pants one is the second highest rated. And then I guess the good third one would be The Man Who Was Death.
I don't know what people are smoking because the Collection Completed has a higher rating than
Only Sin Deep.
Episodes.
Yeah, then Only Sin Deep and He'll Ever Come Hack to Me, and that's crazy. How is that possible? This episode's shit.
It's kind of it's the weakest. Yeah, it's the weakest episode.
Let me rate this garbage.
I think for me because most of it is pretty mundane and bland. I can see how it could have been good. You can kind of relate with someone struggling with their retirement and then taking a drastic turn in there. Talk about trying to get a hobby. This is the most extreme version of getting a hobby. There could have been written to be pretty solid, but it's just pretty mundane episode. Very predictable. The only thing that was good about it was performances from the two leads in the episode and. I guess kudos on the prop guy for some of those animals that got stuffed.
Yeah.
Other than that, pretty bad episode. That's the worst one of this season for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to add. I mean, that's about it. I think it's good that we got our rankings out of the way because I think that's the appropriate rankings. Of those episodes for season 1. I'm looking forward to season 2 because season 2 is a great season. Besides one episode in there that sucked, the Till Death episode where the guy goes to this like jungle.
I like that episode. You don't like that episode?
I hated it. I hated that episode. Yeah.
I like that.
Well, we'll get into it why, but I remember hating it. I thought it's.
That's with it sucked. Dexter's father. He was also in the Warriors. That guy. I think that's the one you're talking about. Because there's 2 voodoo episodes.
There is, yeah. There's the guy that
stealing the diamond, the gem, the black gem, or is it the one where the guy wants to land and then he drugs
she wants
the
to
girl?
Bang this like rich. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Because it's like that episode's like 2 different episodes together. That's like the voodoo episode, and then the first episode of the season with Andrew McCarthy, the one where the girl has the eyebrows that he drugs.
But I mean, there's 2 episodes like this one that take place in some kind of random jungle, and then they have voodoo involved. But this one, and then there was another one I forgot. But I didn't like both of those.
The guy
episodes.
from
It's just
Indiana Jones is in that one too.
He was in that one. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
It just they tried to. It just both were too similar, and I wasn't crazy about how they both ended. And I think that's one of the. It's not the worst, but it's not one of my favorite ones from season 2. I think the one I probably did dislike the most too was the Judy, You're Not Yourself Today on season 2. That one we'll get into.
see,
That's when like the witch swaps bodies with
oh yeah,
some
that's
housewife.
the worst one of that season.
I think that one's
that's
the worst
last
one.
episode too. I think of season 2.
That's episode 11. There's the last one for season 2 was The Secret. That's episode 18.
The Secret. Yes, that's a good one.
I forgot what happens in this one.
That's why we started talking.
That's the one with the Larry Drake episode. Another good. That was a good one too.
That's when we started. I told you, I was talking about Freddy's Nightmares, how terrible it was, and then I said, but you know what worked? And I told you basically because I thought you saw it. I basically spoiled The Secret. It says that's my favorite episode. I told you everything about that episode because that is one of my favorite episodes. That season is a great season. Season 2 is really good. I think is season 2 the one with Bobcat.
It is great.
Where Bobcat,
Bobcat,
and Don Rickles. I think it is.
Yeah, that season had the ventriloquist dummy. That was pretty solid one. But yeah, the Till Death episode. I warmed up to cutting cards episode too. That one I think I liked more. And then there was that one weird episode which I feel like they took inspiration from that. And they used it in that movie Pearl, the four-sided triangle with Patricia Arquette was in that episode. And yeah, I mean, there's things going on with there's things happening with the scarecrow. That's all I'll say.
I'm gonna watch that. Oh, I know that. I haven't seen that episode. I mean, I didn't watch Pearl yet. I'm gonna see Pearl.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'd give it a watch. It's worth watching once. But yeah, it's different. It feels like it could have been a Tales from the Crypt episode, the Pearl.
You know what episode?
But yeah, that concludes. What was that?
You know what episode I'm looking at? Three's a Crowd. I don't recall. Oh, that's the one you were telling me about. I haven't seen that in years. Where they think that the husband's cheating. Okay.
That one was pretty good.
Husband
actually.
thinks his friend is.
I didn't mind that one.
I haven't seen it in years. Okay, so I got
that one. That one was good. I liked it.
It's episode 5. Well, it's going to get good. And by the way, the next 2 episodes, ladies and gentlemen, for your viewing entertainment pleasure, for your listening pleasure, the next episode 5 of Creeps of the Crypt, it will actually be audio commentary of us watching Creepshow number 1. Because I know you're going to say Creepshow is not Tales from the Crypt, but Creepshow is the first thing. Came out in 1982, I believe, and it was inspired by EC Comics. So before, and that kind of helped launch Tales from the Crypt. And Tales from the Crypt was inspired by EC Comics, obviously. So was Creepshow. Stephen King and George Romero specifically say this, that they were fans of the comics. So it was Robert Zemeckis and Richard Donner and all these people that did Tales from the Crypt. And if it wasn't for the success of Creepshow, we wouldn't have a Tales from the Crypt show. So that's why we're gonna spiritual predecessor to Tales from the Crypt. So we're gonna do audio commentary for the first movie will be episode 5, and the second movie will be episode 6. That's right, we're doing both commentaries for episodes 5 and 6.
I look forward to it. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I know we discussed it a little bit. I remember asking. I think Leslie Nielsen is in the first one, right? Yeah. The first Creepshow movie. Yeah. Well, that's cool. I like him. We'll check that out.
The first one is a magnificent film. It's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah. Well, I look forward to it. I like this formula so far, and then besides a couple of stinkers from the first season, and then later on, I mean, I've gone ahead and gone back and forth between seasons just because of our discussions on it and your recommendations. Yeah, there's better episodes to come after that clunker of a finale of season 1 there. We have, and then later on we'll talk about that first episode of season 2, which is the Demi Moore episode, the Dead Right. That one's going to be good to talk about.
Yeah, we'll start that.
And at some point, we'll talk about Bordello Blood. We got to squeeze that in there, man.
That's got to come out when we got to get. That's going to come out when we get to. Look, like I was thinking, I was doing the math. I was like, okay, when are we going to do Demon Knight? Because I want to do Demon Knight. I'm like, well, it came out in 95, right? I was like, so we'll do it whatever season 95 came out. That fucking is the last season of fucking Tales from the Crypt. 95 was the last season. Season 7 was 95. And I'm like, how did they come out with such a great movie in 1995, right? And then I don't even remember that season. And nobody watched. I don't think. I had to. We'll see when we get to it. I don't remember any episodes from that season. I have to rewatch it. But anyway, so that is it for us for this season of Tales from the Crypt. We will come back to you with 2 commentaries, audio commentaries, and then we will return. If you don't want to listen to those, tune into episode 7. That will be, is that right? 5, 6, yeah. Episode 7 will be the first season of season 2. It will be Dead Right with Demi Moore and Jeffrey Tambor. All right, there you guys have it. That's the lowdown, whatever. That's what's going to happen. That's the setup. Episode 5 and 6. We'll see you back if you don't want to watch those with us or hear us talking about those. We'll see you with episode 7. That's it. Talk to you guys next time.
Peace.